If you could wave a wand and change something for everyone, what would it be? Make everybody rich. Live forever. My choice? The motivation for the creation of this show and my podcast. I would make everyone an active and avid and aggressive critical thinker. So many of our problems in politics, culture, and our own lives would benefit so greatly if, as individuals and in the collective, we just harnessed our ability to separate facts from feelings, to weigh the basis of what's being suggested, to consider both sides of an argument, to go from left and right to reasonable, to consider why we may be wrong in our current state of understanding. Now, the bittersweet part is, unlike everybody being rich or world peace or, everybody living forever, what I would wave, unlike the other wanded wants, mine could actually happen. And once you decide to look at what is being sold, to open your mind, it is amazing how obvious the game is and what is really in the common good. How about an example? Glad you asked. Indiana's Attorney General, Todd Rokita, is using his considerable power to attack wrongs in the state, right? That's what he's supposed to do. And he sees that in going after a doctor. 2 reasons. Failing to report sexual assault against a 10-year-old, and then exposing that same child to the media for political gain. The Attorney General says the doctor violated state law and patient privacy laws. Wonder why it's not a criminal prosecution. We'll get to it. Now, did the doctor do those things? Arguably, the doctor, Caitlin Bernard, did not report the abuse of this child to the authorities in Indiana. She didn't do it right away. The doctor did discuss the child with the media. There you have it. That's the reason why so many on the political right in Indiana and around the country are rallying to the Republican AG's cause. Bad doctor. Now you got her, just as you promised on Fox. But you know what? They're being led astray and played for suckers. Maybe they want to be, but you don't. A full read of just one piece and a couple of Google searches will completely reveal that the real offense here is abuse of his office and political malpractice. This Attorney General is no stranger to the doctor. The information about the 10-year-old who needed an abortion, that's true. After she was raped, that's true, came 1 week after the Supreme Court officially overturned Roe v. Wade. The Indianapolis Star's story showed this little girl had to go from Ohio to Indiana because to get her reproductive rights and the ability to exercise them, she had to leave her home state. Ohio has a ban on abortions, a heartbeat ban. So as soon as that happened, she couldn't be availed of any type of health care for it anymore. It quickly became a way, this story, for the media and pro-choice advocates to push back on conservatives who wanted the Roe decision to be reversed. Then Republicans wanted the story to stop, right? It's hurting the narrative. 10-year-old kid. Kids having kids. So they denied it was real. Dr. Bernard was the only source. It's almost as good as a some say or an anonymous source. Only one? Question it. What do you have to lose? Everybody doubts everything, right? A few weeks later, the 10-year-old's alleged rapist was arrested and charged. Now the story's undeniable. Enter Indiana AG Todd Rokita. He moved to change the narrative. He went on cable news, Fox. Surprise. And he went after the doctor, promised an investigation into whether she properly reported the abortion. He even said he was going to go after her medical license. He then filed a claim. The doctor, she then filed a claim against Rokita. So, if you look at the facts, what do you see here? Does he have it out for her? Maybe, but didn't she do those things that violates the law? So isn't it a both where, sure, he may not like her politics, but she did the wrong thing and he's got power over the law, so there you go. Did she violate the law? Who reports abuse? Anyone can, but in a case like this, it's the hospital that first treats this child on intake, specifically social workers that deal with sensitive issues like this. They would be the ones to report it, not this doctor later on. Who says? Cuomo? No. a deputy prosecutor from Indiana who handles these kinds of cases. She testified against the Attorney General's position. She says that. That's the law. Huh. Oh, and the abuse was reported where it happened in Ohio, so authorities did know. And an arrest was made, as I just told you. So now you have to ask, if this prosecutor knew this, why didn't the AG know? Or did he and went after the doctor anyway? Again, turns out the Attorney General knows that even though Ohio had the information, guess what? The doctor did meet the Indiana standard of reporting the procedure on a minor within 3 days. Huh. So he had all this information, and he's still going after her? That case seems like a bust, doesn't it? So the state law issue is gone? Oh, but what do we still have? The fact that the doctor did discuss the girl with the media. She admits it. Definitely happened. That's how we learned about the story in the Indianapolis Star. The AG is asking the state medical board, therefore, to go after the doctor because it's not the kind of legal violation that he usually would use, to use criminality. This is about violation of that board's policy. So, did the doctor violate the privacy? She never said the name of the child. The Attorney General says you don't need to give the name. If the information that you offer describes the treatment and issues and abuse in a way that she's identified, that's enough. Is that true? How can you offend privacy if what you say doesn't expose who you are? And does it matter why and in what context the doctor is revealing information? How many 10-year-olds can there be who are in this situation? Ugly reality, way more kids are abused sexually than you may suspect. But here's the bottom line. You know who the kid is? Me either. Was her privacy violated? The most obvious piece of proof of what this is really about comes out of the mouth of the Attorney General's office. And here's the quote, said in open court. Bernard would not be under investigation if she had not talked to the reporter. They said it in open court. Why? No shame in the game. They want you to know they're going after her because they don't like the politics behind it. And we know this was the real motive because Rokita promised on Fox News to investigate her as a political opponent. He proved this by calling her an abortion activist, not a doctor. As a kicker, the Attorney General, who says this is about protecting the little girl's identity, is suing to get her medical records. And the doctor is blocking it, protecting her privacy. And a judge is considering, why would the AG want her information? Why would the Attorney General want a 10-year-old's medical records if he's trying to protect her privacy? Critical thinking. Takes this from a righteous use of power by an Attorney General to an obvious political stunt. Rokita is abusing his office by advancing no interest of the public, but merely his own political interest in going after someone who represents advocacy for reproductive rights, and he is against them.